The Falling Leaves by Margaret Postgate Cole. A very short poem, but it's incredibly detailed in that it tells us so much about a perception of the home front and perhaps a feminine or female perspective as well. Now when I say the home front, it's the home front of World War One, and as we can see, the poem was written in 1915. So, what is it about? Well, really, superficially, it's about this narrator who walks down the street and then sees all these leaves dropping from a tree in the still afternoon, and they fall on the ground. But that's a remarkably superficial thing to say. Actually, what we're really talking about here is a metaphor for the millions of soldiers whose lives were just destroyed in that conflict. And in a similar way to all these leaves pulling themselves away from a tree in autumn and falling to the ground, we have soldiers who've been literally mown down and are falling and are losing their lives in a similar way. The repeated idea is this idea of the number, the sheer horrible, awful number of people who were killed. And it's described in lots and lots of different ways. These leaves, they fall thickly, silently. They fall like snowflakes wiping out the noon. They are a gallant multitude. They're absolutely atrocious numbers, really, that died. It's also the finality of it. When a leaf falls from a tree, it's because it's died. It's not going to go back. It's then, as the poem going to say, lie withering. It's not going to ever become reinvigorated, to become alive again. So the tone, it's very, very melancholy once again. It's harrowing almost. But it's also very, very, in some ways, gentle. There's no venom in this poem. There's no anger in this poem. It's about loss. It's sadness. It's a lamentation, if you will. So individual words. Well, for me, I've already referred to these words. It's this gallant multitude. To refer to someone as gallant means they're very, very brave. And a multitude is a huge amount of people, a force. So she's saying that all these people were incredibly brave. Alliteration. We've got a little bits of alliteration here and there. How you use them is up to you, but if I can give you an example, if you look at line 4, when no wind whirled them whistling to the sky, we've got that repetition of the W sound. The wind whistling is perhaps, so in some measure, maybe it's a comment on the force that they were taken away with, these soldiers. The wind whirled them whistling to the sky. The quick, fast nature of their deaths and how they were taken. Rhyme and rhythm. Well, I've got little hints of rhyme here. Today as I rode by rhymes with line 4. When no wind whirled them whistling to the sky. But there's not that much. And in a sense, I think that's very, very fitting, because this is a poem that's about broken things. This is a poem that's things about fading, about going away. And in that case, it shouldn't have a rhythmical rhyming sort of structure to it. It should be, as I said before, a lament. It should be quite melancholy. And perhaps the absence of rhyme and rhythm in that sort of relates to that. It's a very thoughtful poem, this. And structure. So only one stanza long, with 12 lines. Like I said at the beginning, this is a very, very clever poem, and although the structure itself is quite simple and it's quite short, there's actually a gallant multitude of things to talk about this. It's a very, very special one. Thank you.